Okay, I'm back with another Borderlands franchise video. And this video is going to be about Borderlands 3, since I already talked about Borderlands the pre-sequel and Tiny Tina Wonderlands. Those two games are really great, and now I'm wanting to talk about another game that I really enjoy and that the community also enjoys. If I'm not mistaken, from what I have read, and from what I've seen on YouTube and stuff like that from other YouTubers, Borderlands 3 is still a very, very good game. Now, people still obviously like Borderlands 2 over Borderlands 3, but I still think that Borderlands 3 is one of the best games in the franchise, although, and it almost competes with Borderlands 2, but the graphics, it's completely different. The color shade of the game is completely different, and I think that's where they messed up, in my opinion. And they keep on drawing influence from Borderlands 1, but besides that, because I do understand all that from the creator's point of view and the community. Besides all that, I want to start off by saying the gameplay is what makes this game so great. The way the guns work and the mechanics in the game are just so futuristic, if you will. Like, if you shoot a gun, it actually feels like you're shooting a gun, if that makes sense. It is a lot like Borderlands 1 in ways, and I also love how they brought back the gore, how you can shoot someone's face off. And a lot of people don't mention that in their YouTube videos, and I guess I kind of get why, but a lot of people don't mention that when it comes to Borderlands 3. Is they took a lot of inspiration from Borderlands 1, which was a good thing in my opinion. It still kind of doesn't feel, it feels like Borderlands, but it feels like Borderlands. Obviously we got Pandora, but at the same time there's some aspects of it that make it feel like a different game in some ways. Maybe it's just me. I think the futuristic part where they added to it really completes the game, but it's a little bit off balance. I absolutely love that part of the game, though. Excuse me, I gotta take a breather for a second. I think I'm talking a bit too fast, but I'm just trying to, sell a point here that Borderlands Borderlands 3 takes a lot of inspiration from Borderlands 1 and in the gameplay aspects of the game, and I think that's why it is such a great game, and it will always be one of the best games in the franchise, in my opinion. And if I had to say another reason why it's one of the best games in the franchise, is because of the Vault Hunters. And I know a lot of people agree with me on this. They have some of the best Vault Hunters out of any of the games. Moe's is my personal favorite, and of course Flak as well. They're not necessarily balanced. That's a downside that I want to talk about in the future. But like their skills, like they are balanced, but at the same time they're not. If that makes any sense, like it's kind of weird and funky, and the power leveling and stuff to it is like a bit unbalanced. But since this is gonna be a positive video about it, I don't want to talk too much about that. But as we know, that the Vault Hunters are a bit overpowered, is what I'm trying to say here, and that is what, in my opinion, makes it such a great game. And a cut above the rest is because Vault Hunters are supposed to feel powerful. They're supposed to be. Now, not to an extent that it feels so unbalanced, and it kind of does, in my opinion. But at the same time, you can get a character like Amara, and she feels like like a perfect balance in the game. You just get some characters like Moe's that feel, a bit off, but I'm trying to focus on the positives here. So, and it is, in my opinion, a positive. Not the unbalanced part, but the fact that the Vault Hunters are overpowered. I feel like that was intentional, and it works, And just like I said with Tiny Tina Wonderlands, it's a really good game because the Vault Hunters are overpowered, which makes it easier to get into the game for players that don't want to play it on difficult modes, and obviously that goes in the factor of new players. They want to play the game on an easier mode, and I know what you guys are thinking. A lot of people don't like that aspect of it, of how easy it is. But in my opinion, it is a perk for new players. But that is just me, of course. Now, if I had to go on to the next thing that I really like about it, and what makes it the best game in the franchise, is a unique variety of guns. And of course, I'm just gonna call it the element of radiation. The variety of guns is just, it's a crazy amount of guns, as all Borderlands games are known for. Obviously, that's why I'm saying this, is because it feels, Borderlands. It won't take a deep dive to understand that Borderlands 3 has a large variety of amazing guns. And, of course, they have a large variety of good elemental guns as well. Like, the guns are balanced for the most part, and that's one of the best aspects of the game, of any Borderlands game. But in this game, it feels like they went to the extreme, where they made it to where it's extremely balanced, and of course Borderlands fans like me, they enjoy that, and I respect that a lot from them. The fact that they took so much time to make sure that the guns were balanced is a really nice feature of the game, and it really completes the game. And if I had to say another good thing about the guns, is the fact that the guns are so unique and special, and the variety that you can get with the guns are absolutely insane. Like you can throw a TDO weapon, for example, and you might get a drone, you might get a mini turret gun, you might be able to explode an enemy, which isn't, very unique, but it's still a good aspect of the game. The fact that the guns are so unique and they have such a unique variety to them, it even beats Wonderlands in this perspective of guns. Yeah, the amount of unique guns, kind of, in my opinion, they're better than Tiny Tina Wonderlands, and that says a lot because they spend a lot of time, and you can tell that they spend a lot of time in crafting their guns in Tiny Tina Wonderlands. I mean, you can shoot arrows, down below, but in my opinion, the Hellwalker is it's better than that gun. Although I absolutely love that gun, and it's probably going to be one of my favorite guns in the franchise. But the Hellwalker compared to that gun, for example, is just so better. It feels more balanced. I mean, I guess you could say it feels more realistic, but, obviously, it being a fantasy game, I can't compare that, I can't put two and two together with that. But what I'm trying to say here is it feels more balanced, and it goes into the aspect of feeling, like Borderlands, like it doesn't feel too realistic, but it feels like something you would expect from a Borderlands game. And that's really all I had to say about the guns. There's a lot of guns in this game, and I don't have to deep dive into it for people to understand that all Borderlands games are going to have a large variety of guns, except for Borderlands 1, of course, doesn't have like a huge amount of guns. It does have a decent variety though, and yeah, I think that's honestly all I have to say about the gun aspect of it. Is it's just balanced and unique out of all the franchise, out of all the games in the entire franchise. Borderlands 3 feels the most balanced. The next best thing about Borderlands 3 is the variety of enemies. And when I say the variety of enemies, I mean the variety of enemies is just absurd, honestly. And that is thanks to the DLC. How, some of them weren't, very long, and I don't want to focus too much on that. But the variety of enemies they included in these somewhat small DLCs is just absolutely incredible, and it gives the game a new aesthetic, in my opinion, of course. This game in particular does very well in the variety of enemies you can face off. You can face off dinosaur-like creatures, face off with monkey-like creatures. You can face bandits, but you can also face Malwan, new soldiers with honestly impressive guns. If I'm going to be completely honest, that's I really like the impressive guns they have too. The Malwan guns are just amazing, but I already talked about the guns, so I'm just going to focus on the variety of enemies right now. The bosses are incredible, although rather weak, but the variety of enemies is just crazy, and you can get the big buff enemies that are just absolutely beyond fun to fight, and you can there's all kinds of ways you can take them down, but it's just a breath of fresh air when it comes to the franchise, because the variety of enemies is unlike any other in the franchise, and I'm not the only one that noticed that too. A lot of people noticed that, and I really like the fact that there's a lot of flying enemies in there. You can shoot flying vehicles as well. Now, it's not the same as, buzzards, unfortunately. But at the same time, it feels futuristic enough to be in Borderlands 3. Although, the futuristic aspect of it was a turnoff for many Borderlands fans. When we get to the different stages of the game, you gotta kind of expect that. And, you kind of gotta expect the way of the world, how fast the world is changing, and honestly, I don't really think the Borderlands creators, they're just trying to they don't understand so much of what the fans want. It seems like, but I don't want to focus too much on that. I just was, I need to focus on the variety of enemies. And the next thing I want to talk about is the environment. And I know I talked a bit about that on all the games on this channel. And I don't want to focus too much on the environment, because I talk about that a lot in my Borderlands videos, especially when it comes to liking the games, But it just goes into the aspect of how I view Borderlands for the most part. I break it down into all sides that I can, including the environment and the graphics. But with that aside, why I like Borderlands 3 and the environment in particular, and why it's here on the I guess you could call it a list, why it's on on the list. That just don't sound right. Anyways, why I mention the environment is because it truly is unique. Well, it's unique compared to Borderlands 2, at least. I mean, after Borderlands 3, we got Tiny Tina Wonderlands, which, in my opinion, obviously has better. Has better environments than Borderlands 3. Um, I mean, there are environments that I like in Borderlands 3 that are better, but at the same time, Tiny Tina Wonderlands is it did a bit better, honestly, when it comes to graphics and environments. It did a bit better than Borderlands 3, just because of the fact that it's a somewhat improved version. It's not a version of Borderlands 3, but it's improved upon the engine of that game. If you get what I mean here, and but with that in mind, the environment though for Borderlands 3 is still no less inspiring and incredible, honestly, and it's got some really great backgrounds. I really enjoy the Malawan background where they're fighting, and I really do enjoy the moving turrets and the environments that are trying to shoot down the other enemies and stuff. It's just it really is amazing, and you really don't get that from Tiny Tina Wonderlands for obvious reasons, and you're not going to see that in any other game in the franchise, say except for Borderlands pre-sequel. They do have some amazing backgrounds that can honestly be better than Borderlands 3, and and it has some aspects of moving turrets and stuff like that, stuff going on in the background with the meteors and stuff like that. But Borderlands 3 is just, it's in its unique own lane, I would say, as are all the Borderlands in their franchise. And a lot of people, I don't know, they don't really put them in their own class like they should be. I really do feel like each game is like, of course, a part of the franchise, but I feel like it should have its own little bubble, its own little space, if you know what I mean. Maybe I'm giving it too much, the Borderlands creators too much credit. I don't know, but I really do feel like if you put things aside and you look at it from my perspective, if you can, anyways, I have a weird perspective. I'll say it. I'll be the first one to say it, but if you look at it through, I guess, glass, like a glassy view, whatever you want to call it, you might see it in a different perspective, and I just really enjoy the environments in the game as a whole because when you take a step back and you look at it from a different angle, it truly is a unique and special game. And I hope that I really sell the point to you of why Borderlands 3 is one of the greatest in the entire franchise. And this is just my personal opinion, of course, but I really do hope that you guys agree and that you comment down below and that I get subscribers for this and that I blow up and become rich. Nah, but seriously though, I really would like to become one of the greats, but it'll take some time. But anyways, I really hope that you guys like this video, and if you do, please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and check out my Patreon if you got the time, and check out my links if you can, if you be so willing. And this is Briar the King out. See y'all on the next one.
Are those Atlas dropships?
Negative. We made them angry. Prepare for counterattack. Malawan dickheads. Back to killing.
Cub's got claws! No, no, no! You can't do this to me!
My sight.
Another one down!
Holding on to this.
Damn it, Cub! We've got work to do!
Their assault has failed. A predictable outcome with our combined skills.
So, what's our target?